If you have a DJI Osmo Nano, should you get a protective cover for your screen? I'm using this tempered glass protective screen to add a layer of protection to my multifunctional vision dock, aka the screen monitor on the DJI Nano. Is it worth doing, and how hard is it to fit one of these to one of these? So this is how the protective glass, the protective screen arrives. It comes in a nice box from that part of the world, and I'll just open it up and show you what you get in this particular protective tempered glass screen. Inside we have some guide stickers and dust absorbers. So there's a wet wipe and a dry wipe, and in this particular kit you get three screens, I think, three protective screens. So this tempered glass screen, protective screen, is obviously for the multifunctional vision dock, and then we get three of these. Oh, that's not right. I'm a bit disappointed about this because the cover is not tempered glass. It's just film, and I'm not sure I even want that, but I'll put it on anyway to show you how it should look. But usually it's like rigid glass, like this protective screen is, but this, as you can see, it's just cover film. It's not good. Now I usually use the box as just a stand to put everything on. Sometimes these wipes, because they've been in the warehouse for so long, they're already dried out, but these feel damp and they have like some kind of cleaning fluid. It smells chemical. And if I can get into the packets, I'm going to open up the dry wipe and use this to wipe off all of the cleaning fluid, so I can see in the sunlight that it's looking really good there. For the screen, one side has a peel-off film and the other side doesn't. Obviously, the side with the peel-off film will be totally clean. So the trick is to take this off and land it as quickly as possible onto the screen. And it's good just to line it up, just to get an idea of what kind of tolerance you have. No gaps whatsoever. So I'm going to try and land this absolutely on the screen within the frame here. But one way to do it is to line it up and to get the guide stickers to hold it in place. So I'll stick these onto the... Oh, I've done it on the wrong side. Oh my goodness. Okay. And the way that these work is that you absolutely have to put the guide stickers on the other side, from the side that has the adhesive film. And I'm going to line this up so that it's exactly in the right place and that it's straight and fills the corners. Yeah, that looks good. And then I'll push these stickers down as hard as possible. And it's a bit tricky to do because there's like a slope here. It's really difficult to actually line it up. So usually you do it like that, but you can see there's already a gap at the top. So what you'd usually do is peel this strip off, and then you could lay it down and it will land perfectly, but these guide stickers just do not work at all. So I'm going to do this by eye, see if we can land it on the screen. Best place to do this, by the way, is in the bathroom. If you run some water in your bathroom, that tends to ionize the air and stop the dust flying around. I'm going to remove any fragments of dust, and then pretty quickly I've got to get this protective screen onto the screen before any dust or pollen lands on it. Right, so I'm going to peel off the protective film, and then as quickly as possible I'm going to try and land it onto the DJI Osmo Nano camera. Now I don't usually do this outdoors, I'm only doing this because it looks good on camera and you can see everything in the sunlight. But the problem with doing this outdoors is that there's lots of dust and pollen flying around in the air, and if you just have one tiny fragment, it gets stuck underneath the sticky side of the protective screen, then we'll have a bubble, which is the one thing I want to avoid. Yeah, so I've done that. I think I've landed that correctly. And where I was lifting it up with my fingernail, the glue isn't quite as good in the corner. You can see, yeah, up here, that's where I lifted it off. Let me show you my Action 2 camera. This is my DJI Action 2, and I put protective screens on the camera module and the screen unit. I'm glad I did, because I've dropped this thing a couple of times while riding my bike in London. Rather stupidly put the screen module onto the lanyard because the battery was failing. And you can see the impact that that has. Even though there's a protective case on it, this has actually taken quite a tumble to the tarmac. So I'm really glad that I had protective covers. We are going to do exactly the same for the camera lens of the DJI Osmo Nano camera. And I'll take off the protective cover as well. That will give us a bit more space. Hey, you know, I actually dropped it in the sea on my vlogging video. So I think I'm going to give it a wipe all over, because I don't really want seawater salt crystals forming. And then I'll get the dry wipe, give that a wipe. I'm going to hold up the sticky transparent film just to see how much edge I need to give it. So the ones I've bought aren't cheap. They are £9 in the UK, which I think is something like $13. And we've got some mowing. The neighbours have decided to come out mowing. I'm going to take off the adhesive sticker. Oh, it's on 1/2, brilliant. So I've got 1/2 that I can stick on. Oh, that's quite, I've got a good target there. Oh, it feels really cheap. This is the first time I've used protective film. I much prefer the tempered glass. I'm gonna have to get a knife or something to, oh, there you go, you can pull it off. This protective film is now protecting the lens cover from scratches. I much prefer though to have glass on there. My perfectionism, that is doing my head in. So I'm gonna do it again. I think that's a fingerprint where I touched it trying to line it up. So I'm gonna take this off. And it's quite easy, you just prise it off with your fingernail and you can see the bubble rising if I take it off. There you go, so off that screen goes. So this will clean off all the residue from that last screen. Then I'll take off the protective film again on this side. So the adhesive side is this side. Let's see if I can land it on the camera now I've had practice at this. So I'm trying to land it on one side. There we go, I think that's a good landing. Yes, I can see the glue taking, and this time, look at that, that is a level up. My DJI Osmo Nano camera screen, multifunctional vision dock, is completely protected now. So this is how the camera looks with a protective screen on the lens. Like, I'll hold it up to the camera again, you can see, I mean, you can definitely tell there's transparent film on there, but on the footage, hopefully it's completely invisible. I will be looking at this in the edit and checking to make sure that having that transparent film on the lens cover doesn't affect the picture quality at all. But from here, that's looking really good, and it's really reassuring to know that if I were to drop it, at least have covered the screen and the lens cover with something that will just stop it getting scratched once it hits the tarmac or whatever surface it hits. So what do you think? Is this something that you might be doing with your DJI Osmo Nano? Say hi in the comments below. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up, and thank you for hitting the subscribe button, because it really helps me to keep this channel going, but it also means you'll be able to see all my other DJI Osmo Nano camera videos, which are right here, and you'll get updates as I add more to this collection. So thank you for coming along with the ride.